off and I didn't realize. And so maybe hints of that, that video was audible. The glitches are real, and the process is real, and the perfection is only, the completion of my cells and my being that's perceiving this moment. And it's not in necessarily the expression of the moment. It's just the fact that we have a moment and how complete being able to perceive really is. And so what I was trying to discuss, hey Jupiter, is universal, unconditional, global compassion. And the taking this pilgrimage from Shasta to Israel. And can we talk about this? Can we talk about universal global compassion? It's a worldwide invitation, a worldwide one, a human invitation for humanity to make a declaration of nonviolence. We're asking people everywhere to think deeply about one question, which is how do we stop humanity from self-defending itself into extinction? Before anyone can really make that declaration, you have to think, and just thinking shifts consciousness. Whether you are describing it spiritually or psychologically, culturally, however you explain it, sincere reflection changes the consciousness of humanity. And that is what this pilgrimage is all about. And going from Mount Shasta to Israel is huge. I know where I'm going. It's the Holy Land, one of the oldest continuously inhabited lands in all of human civilization. It's been conquered by empires, ruled by many, by Assyrians and Babylonians, Persians and Greek, Romans, Crusaders, British. Hi, sweetie. It's sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, and carries thousands of years of memories. The Jewish people have endured repeated expulsions, persecutions, and exiles. After the Roman destruction of Jerusalem, many communities were dispersed across Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, Spain. For centuries, they lived as minorities, often moving between acceptance and discrimination, forced conversions, expulsions, or violence. And then, of course, the Holocaust, one of the history's greatest moral catastrophes, not because it was the biggest genocide on planet, but because of how documented it was and how real and in your face it was. Murdering 6 million Jews and leaving survivors just searching for safety. And that history, hello, and that history matters. And it helps explain why security is not an abstract political idea for many Israelis. It's deeply personal. They've tried compassion and withdrew from Gaza in 2005 and hoped peace would grow. And Hamas won elections to control of Gaza, its charter, leadership, that openly calls for Israel's destruction. And so many Israelis may feel and may believe that compassion, and which I'm talking about is compassion, they may feel that compassion without security can be extremely dangerous, and I hear that. I understand why many people may believe that and hold that. Jupiter, please stop. Thank you. He's kicking me. Fear has reasons. History has scars. Trauma changes how nations think. And I'm not dismissing that pain. I'm not saying we shouldn't defend ourselves. That's not what I'm expressing. That's not what I'm saying compassion is, nonviolence is. It's not passivism, it's consciousness. I'm not going to Israel to tell Israelis what to do or Palestinians what to do. I'm going there to ask humanity what kind of future we are creating. Because every war eventually reaches a similar question. What comes after the fighting? If we're only becoming better at killing one another, eventually everyone loses. So this pilgrimage is not political. My mission, our mission is not political. It is civilizational. It's universal. It's unconditional, global, and it is compassion. Compassion is not naive. I believe compassion is one of the hardest disciplines and strongest powers that we have access to, that we can practice. It does not ignore danger. It does not deny terrorism or anti-Semitism. Sorry. It doesn't erase grief. It doesn't deny any pain. It doesn't whitewash. It just simply refuses to let hatred become humanity's highest value. Compassion continues to push us into further peace, into our future, which we get to call in, which we get to create pathways. And when I think about this land and I think about Israel, I also think about Jesus, about Yeshua. Whether one sees him as the Messiah, a prophet, or a teacher, one of the most enduring parts of his legacy is his radical insistence that compassion is stronger than violence. And that message has survived empires, survived wars, survived 2,000 years, because compassion cannot be conquered. This pilgrimage is not about pretending history never happened. It's about studying history carefully enough that we stop repeating it. When I stand in Israel wearing my peace, bringing my compassion and these ceremonies, I'm not claiming that I'll have all the answers. I'm claiming that I can bring these ceremonies there, these sacred energies there, and I can help land them there in this holy land in which really deeply ties to our humanity. How do we honor Jewish suffering without ignoring Palestinian suffering? How do we acknowledge Palestinian suffering without denying Jewish history? These difficult questions are where peace begins. How do we protect life without making violence humanity's permanent language? How do we usher in more compassion in our daily lives? Here, now. I believe every conversation matters. Every declaration of nonviolence, of compassion matters. History has given this land enough conquering, and perhaps it's time that we welcome in compassion. And I am saying that through all this, that everyone has had some sort of everyone has had some sort of trauma, witnessed some sort of trauma, and nothing in the universe is truly polarized. So to polarize yourself on one side of the spectrum, it's not really in line with the totality of expression, which is dualistic. and to have compassion for all of humanity, for everyone involved, for the human psychosphere, to me is the way, is what this pilgrimage is expressing, is that on planet we can utilize this grid, we can utilize crystals, we can utilize our sacred healing waters, we could utilize Andean mysticism, we can utilize Mount Shasta, and we can bring that energy and that potency around planet to really encourage and uplift our connection to the ground and to each other, and to ushering and in calling in more compassion in our daily lives. I believe in a micro and macrocosmic energies. And so on the microcosmic energy, I am sitting here on my path to self-realization, and on the macrocosmic scale, the planet is in its own planetary realization. And every act of consciousness and every step I take adds to that planetary possibility, and every step that you take as well. So thank you for watching, and opening conversation about what nonviolence is, what compassion is, how it can really shift things, shift our reality, shift our story, and bring in further understanding and love and healing into a planet that has been so traumatized on all different levels, and welcoming in and ushering in a new level of compassion to guide and lead ourselves to a more unity conscious future. Thank you guys for listening, and sorry about the glitch. You know, I'm doing the best I can with what I have, and I didn't even realize that I went silent on my last video. And so you know, I appreciate all of you that are tuning into the fund, to the page. I'm open to any sort of support. Sharing is amazing. If you resonated with any of this, please share with anyone that you may think may also resonate with this. Tune in. I'm going to be sharing this journey with the world, sharing my process, sharing how I bring and usher in energetic healing in my life, and how I am guiding these ceremonies, so that you may be able to ask questions, join in, and gain some of this wisdom that I've been collecting in my life, and am here sharing with you. And in my way, I find this to be a very beautiful, amazing offering. I've been guiding Universal Unconditional Global Compassion in my heart, and I established the movement in 2022. However, I've been aligned to this for a long time, and discussing this and teaching compassion is so important to our youth, and I really appreciate the moment and the time that you may have given me tuning in. Have a great weekend. I am going to Mendocino to dip into the beautiful Turtle Lake there. So enjoy.
Security camera.